So Shannon Sharpe and Ochocinco on a Nightcap podcast talked about their childhood whoopings, the worst whoopings ever. And that sent me down a rabbit hole of one whooping. I don't remember any of the whoopings I got. I got a bunch of whoopings just because I did stupid stuff. I wasn't a bad kid. I just did dumb things, right? And my mom was usually the disciplinarian. My dad, he was like the heavy. He would interact if he had to. There was only one time my dad went after me. I thought he was going to choke me out. So it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? But maybe I'll talk about that on another day. So the worst whooping I ever had, I think I was in 7th grade. Because back then, elementary school, you went from K through 6. And what you guys would call middle school, junior high school was 7th grade. So I got the middle school. And it's different, man. Like these are girls that you've never seen before. These are girls that you see. It's like grade 7 to 9. So I was distracted by girls. Not like I was dating them. I was like, oh my God, these girls are so cute. And puberty hits, and then I got in the comic book stand, so I would bring comic books to school and read them. And then also you would see other kids in the class, and other kids would be just goofing around. They'd be listening to their headset, or they'd be reading comic books, or they'd be talking, and it's like, well, they seem to be getting their work done. I'll do the same thing. Now, some kids got a photographic memory, so they can remember this stuff, so they don't have to study that much. Other kids, they just didn't care, and they just got bad grades. I didn't understand that. So one grading period, probably my worst grading period, I got 2 Ds. And when when you get your report card and you look at it, and it's like, so I knew getting 2 grades was not going to fly with my parents, especially my mom. So I remember listening to other kids in the class, and they were talking about how they would change the letters on their report cards, and everything was fine as well. So I didn't ask them how they did it because I was a quiet kid. So I didn't, I would hear all these conversations, but I didn't ask. So I figured, well, that's what I'll do. I'll just look at these 2 Ds and turn them into Bs. So I did it because these were paper report cards. This is not emails. This isn't like download. No, it's paper. So I went home. I gave my mom the report card, and she said, "Why'd you write over this?" I was like, I was just messing around, goof around in class. And so what grade you get? I got Bs. I was just messing around. She said, okay. And I thought I was in the clear. Next day I'm in class and I'm doing my work, and I look up and I see my mom walking through the hallway. And I was like, oh no, this is not gonna be good. And not soon after, I got called into the office, and my unit principal, my mom was sitting there looking very pleasant but stern, because my mom was good at just looking very pleasant. And then she turns into a psychopath at the house. So my mom was looking very pleasant, but very stern. And he asked me about my report card. And he asked me, your mom gave you a report card. And, did you try to change your grades? I was like, no, I didn't try to change my grades. I was just playing around. I'll just goof around. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and they showed my mom my real report card, and I got 2 Ds. And, I can't remember what happened after that because I think I blacked all that stuff out. So I got sent back to my class. My mom said something like, we'll talk about this at home or whatever. Still very pleasant. And I said, oh no. Man, I was like, please don't let it be 3 o'clock. Please. Because I didn't want to go home. Not at all. Because I knew it was going to happen. I did not want to go home. It's like, oh my God, why is time moving so fast today? When you're in school, it goes so slow. But man, it was 11 o'clock. And the next thing I know, it was like 2:55. I was like, what? Went home. Mom was there. And I can't remember if she made me get a switch or she already had a switch. And if you guys don't know what a switch is a branch broken off of a tree. Man, those things hurt. People's talking about getting beaten with a house shoe. Yeah, those hurt. Switch, belt, then house shoe. House shoes are not as bad as a belt and or a switch. Switch is the absolute worst. And my mom had that switch, and she cornered me in the kitchen. I couldn't get out. I'd never seen it. Now listen, I've done stupid stuff before. She's used switches before me, belts. Like it all sucks, but this is just different. She was like crying. She was mad. She was angry. It's almost like, oh my God, it's almost like The Exorcist. She just kept on changing faces like, oh my God, like she's about to kill me. It wasn't good, man. Oh my God. But yeah, she cornered me, man. And I was trying to get out. I couldn't get out. That was the worst beating I ever had in my life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't get the switch again, because I did, because I always did stupid things. But nothing comes close to what happened when I was cornered in the kitchen and she was mad and angry that I changed my grades. I think I disappointed my mom. I lied to my mom, and that's another thing too. My mom always said she hated liars. I lied to my mom. I wasn't doing my schoolwork the way I should have. It's just all that stuff I was built up inside of her just came out. And again, she might have been mad at my dad too for something. my dad was doing something that irked her, so she just wailed on me. I was like, I didn't do it to him. That's his business. Oh man, I can laugh at it now, but man, oh my God, I was hurt. I was crying. Oh my God, I was scared. Like I really thought she was going to take me out. But it taught me a very, very valuable lesson. It doesn't matter how many girls I might like. It doesn't matter how many comic books I love reading. It doesn't matter what kids say about not studying and just goofing around. I knew I can never have a bad grading period like that ever again. Now I won't have it again in college, but it's different. Because when you go to college, like everything's hard at first. So yeah, I had some bad college years or semesters. I had a couple of bad semesters, but that's totally different. You can kind of hide those away from your parents. That's a little bit different. And plus you're 18, 19, 20 years old. That's a little bit different. But when you're like 13 years old, man, so I never had a grading period that bad again. Not to say I didn't get a D again. But for the most part, the worst I probably got was C's after that. I was never like a straight A student. I wasn't that dude. I was usually a mixture between B's and C's. Always had problems with math, but man, I never, ever had a bad grading period like that again. I never, ever had a beating by my mom, ever like that again. I can't remember the beatings before that. I can't remember the beatings after that. I just remember that one, and it's stuck in my mind. So yeah, you kids today are so lucky because your parents want to be your friends. However, there's far more discipline back then. I think the trade-off is, yeah, the belts were horrible, the switches were horrible, and I think a lot of people of my generation remember those things, and then most of them I think did what they can not to do what their parents did, which is admirable. But at the same time, as we went through the years, I think parents has gotten too laxed, and it's almost like they went complete reverse, where my mom and my dad sometimes, but mostly my mom, was just almost like corporal punishment. It's always been totally flipped, and everybody just kind of like, kids get away with so much, and I don't blame kids. Cause kids are smart, man. If they know they can get away with something, they're gonna keep on doing it. The thing that saved a lot of kids when I was going to school is that you got paddled at school. And, you might not get that discipline at home, but if you messed up in elementary school, junior high school, or even high school, the paddle was there. And I feel like once they took that paddle out, kids are smart. Like, what's detention? Like, detention used to be a scary place. Now it's almost like study hall, which is scary. So that's my tale. I can laugh about it now, but ooh, I thought I was going to be here. So what is y'all's worst beating? And check out Nightcap with Ochocinco and Shannon Sharpe. It's a good podcast. But man, I think I still got bruises from that day. I love you, Mom. But not on that day. Oh my God.